Hello everyone on YouTube. This is sort of a different type of video. I usually read a lot of creepypastas, but I do some online shopping here and there. And this is me, Muta, and these are my buddies, by the way. Gotta introduce you guys. So say hi, everyone.
Hello. My
Hello
sides
there,
hurt.
Extreme Elixir here.
This
is 5 in the morning, and we're here browsing some of the best available products on the internet, like sugarless gummy bears. But first of all, we like reading product reviews before we buy anything, and here we present to you some of the best. This is your captain speaking. Do not eat the red gummy bear. You'll be sorry. Before a company goes public, the highest level executives embark on a multi-city tour with their investment bankers to drum up support for the upcoming IPO. This trip is called a roadshow, and the group will typically visit dozens of cities on a tight schedule. A private jet is the preferred means of transportation.
What? Oh my gosh.
During a roadshow, it's not unusual to visit 2 or 3 cities in a single day, so work starts at the crack of dawn. That doesn't mean the group goes to bed early. Every night, the bankers treat their clients to a wild night, complete with complimentary gummy bears and coffee. No matter how hard the group parties the night before, the private jet will lift them off to their next destination very early the next morning. And just for a minute, pretend you're an investment banker traveling with some very important clients on one of these road shows. Now imagine that you spent the previous night dropping yogi, way beyond your limit, only to be startled out of bed by a piercing 6:30 a.m. wake-up call. In an attempt to get your head and body feeling remotely human again, you scarf down some more warm gummy bears and at least 2 glasses of coffee at the hotel's breakfast buffet before jumping on the shuttle to the private airport. Within a few minutes of arriving, your entire group is seated and the plane begins to taxi down the runway. At this point, you might feel a bit of relief as the morning blur subsides. All you have to do is sit back and relax for the 1-hour flight to the next city. There's just one problem. In your rush to get out of the hotel, down to breakfast and onto the plane, you forgot to do one very crucial thing. Go to the bathroom. And I'm not talking about peeing. You have a stomach full of last night's multicolored death bears.
Oh, and he drank the coffee too.
I know. Oh, and coffee churning around your lower intestine at 30,000 feet. But that's not the worst part. True horror sets in when you realize you're not in a spacious 20-person G5 with couches, beds, lazy boys, and a fully tucked-away private bathroom. No, on this day, you're traveling on a 6-person puddle jumper, sitting shoulder to shoulder with your clients and coworkers. But wait, somehow the story gets even worse. Just over halfway through the flight, all the coffee in my stomach feels like it's percolating its way down to my lower intestine. I hunker down and try to focus on other things. What feels like an hour, it probably isn't more than 20 minutes, passes. We then enter what turns out to be a pretty violent turbulence.
Oh, shoot.
With each bounce, I have to fight my body trying not to shit my pants. 30 minutes to landing, maybe 45. I try to tell myself, each jostle a gamble I can't afford to lose. I signal to the flight attendant and she heads toward me. Excuse me, where's the bathroom? Because I don't see a door. I ask while still devoting considerable energy to fighting off what starts to feel like someone shook a seltzer bottle and shoved it up my ass. She looks at me, bemused, and says, "Well, we don't really have one per se."
Oh my god.
Technically we have one, but it's really just for emergencies. Don't worry, we're landing shortly anyways. I'm pretty sure this qualifies as an emergency. I began to mutter through my grimace. I can see the fear in her face as she points nervously to the back seat. The turbulence outside is matched only by the cyclone that is... by the cyclone that is ravaging my bowels. She points to the back of the plane. There, the toilet is there. For a brief instant, relief passes over my face. She continues. If you pull away the leather cushion from the seat, it's under there. There's a small privacy screen that puts up around it, but that's it. At this point, I was committed. She had just lit the dynamite and the mine shaft was set to blow. I'm sorry. I turn to look where she is pointing and I get the urge to cry. And I do cry. But my face is so tightly clenched it makes no difference. The toilet seat is occupied by the CFO, our freaking client, our freaking female freaking client. Up to this point, nobody has observed my struggle or my exchange with the flight attendant. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's all I can say as I limp towards her like Quasimodo impersonating a penguin. The best description. Quasimodo. Penguins. Explanations, of course. As soon as my competitors see me talking to the CFO, they all perk up to find out what the hell I'm doing. Given my jovial nature and fun-loving attitude thus far on the roadshow, everyone almost thinks I'm joking. She, however, knows right away that I am anything but and jumps up, moving quickly to where I had been sitting. I had to remove the seat top, no easy task when you can barely stand upright, are getting tossed around like a hood rat at a block party, and are fighting against a gastrointestinal Mount Vesuvius. I managed to peel back the leather seat to find a rather luxurious-looking commode, with a nice cherry or walnut frame. It had obviously never been used, ever. Why this moment of clarity came to me, I don't know. Perhaps it was a realization that I was to take this. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're about to take this toilet's virginity. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. This toilet's virginity with the fury and savagery that was an abomination to its delicate craftsmanship and quality.
Damn, Kyle, your laugh, stop.
I imagine some poor Italian carpenter weeping over the violently soiled remains of his once beautiful creation. The lament lasted only a second, as I was quickly back to concentrating on the tiny muzzle that stood between me and molten hot lava. I reached down and pulled up the privacy screens. With only seconds to spare before I erupt, it's an Alka-Seltzer bomb. Nothing but air and liquid spraying out in all directions. A Jackson Pollock masterpiece. The pressure is now reversed. I feel like I'm going to have a stroke. I push so hard to end the relief. The tormented sublime relief. I'm so sorry. My apologies do nothing to drown out the heinous noises that seem to carry on through the small cabin indefinitely. But that's not bad enough. I have one major problem. The privacy screen stops right around shoulder level. I'm sitting there, a disembodied head on the back of the plane, on a bucking bronco for a toilet, all while looking at my colleagues, competitors, and clients directly in the eyes. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain briefly comes to mind. I literally could not reach out with my left hand and rest it on the shoulder of the person adjacent to me. It was virtually impossible for him, or any of the others, and by others I mean high-profile business partners and clients, to avert their eyes. They squirm and try not to look, inclined to do their best to carry on and pretend if nothing out of the ordinary was happening. That they weren't sharing a stall with some guy dropping his intestines out, releasing smelly, sweaty shame at 100 feet a second. I'm so sorry is all the ashamed, disembodied head can say, over and over again. Not that it mattered. Oh my god.
Oh
my
god.
Oh my god. Alright.
After having been told my danglies looked like an elderly Rastafarian, I decided to take the plunge and buy some of this, as previous shaving attempts had only been mildly successful, and I nearly put my back out trying to reach the more difficult bits. Being a bit of a romantic, I thought I would do the deed on the missus's birthday as a bit of a treat. I ordered it well in advance, and working on the North Sea, I considered myself a bit above some of the characters writing the previous reviews, and wrote them off as soft office types. Oh, my fellow sufferers, how I was wrong. I waited until the other half was tucked up in bed and giving some vague hints about a special surprise. I went down to the bathroom. Initially, all went well, and I applied the gel and stood waiting for something to happen. I didn't have long to wait. At first, there was a gentle warmth, which in a matter of seconds was replaced by an intense burning feeling. I can only describe as like being given a barbed wire wedgie by two people and on hitting the ceiling with my head.
Oh my god!
Religion hadn't featured much in my life until that night, but suddenly I became willing to convert to any religion to stop the violent burning or the turd tunnel.
Oh my god! What seemed like the... Oh my god.
And what seemed like the destruction of the meat and two veg.
Oh my god.
Too much.
Struggling not to bite through my bottom lip, I tried to wash the gel off in the sink and only succeeded in blocking the plug hole with a mat of hair. Through the haze of tears, I struggled out of the bathroom, across the hall, into the kitchen. By this time, walking was not really possible, and I crawled the final yard to the fridge in hope of some sort of cold relief. I yanked the freezer drawer out and found a tub of ice cream, tore the lid off, and positioned it under me.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
The relief was fantastic, but only temporarily, as it melted fairly quickly and the fiery stabbing soon returned. Due to the shape of the ice cream tub, I hadn't managed to give the starfish any treatment.
The starfish? What's up with everyone? What's up with everyone calling it a starfish?
And I groped around in the drawer for something else, as I was sure my vision was going to fail fairly soon. I grabbed a bag of what I later found out was frozen sprouts and tore it open, trying to be as quiet as I did so. I took a handful of them and tried to, in vain, to clench them between the cheeks of my ass. This was not doing the trick, as some of the gel had found its way up the chutney channel.
Chutney channel! Oh my god!
And it felt like the space shuttle was running its engines behind. This was probably and hopefully the only time in my life I was going to wish there was a gay snow in the kitchen, which should give you some idea of the depths I was willing to sink to in order to ease the pain. The only solution my crazed mind could come up with was to gently ease one of the sprouts where no veg had gone before.
Oh
No.
Unfortunately,
No
alerted by the
exception.
strange grunts coming from the kitchen, the other half chose that moment to come and investigate, and was greeted by the sight of me, arse in the air, strawberry ice cream dripping from my bell end, pushing a sprout up my arse while muttering, "Ooh, that is good." Understandably, this was a shock to her, and she let out a scream.
God.
And as I hadn't heard her come in,
It
caused an involuntary spasm.
Oh!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Which
No.
in myself, which resulted in the sprout being ejected at quite some speed in her direction.
Oh my god!
I can understand that having a sprout farted against your leg at 11 at night in the kitchen probably wasn't the
Oh my
special
God.
surprise she was expecting, and had to explain the kids next day what the strange hollow in the ice cream was didn't improve my status. So, to sum it up, feet removes hair, dignity, and self-respect.
Oh.
Oh my god! Gay snowman!
I
We're
swear
about
to
get
God,
blown.
whatever you do, don't order the Veet and don't get the Haribo.
Don't violate your toilet's virginity.